All right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well, teach well, while learning the truth 100% according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophet, servants, scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters that are sincere in your children, shalom. And then today's video is going to be titled, Thou Should Be Visited of the Lord of Hosts, right? Because that's ultimately what we see Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah doing in these times. And it's only going to intensify and get worse. But with all of these earthquakes and all of these different types of things that is ultimately happening, you see you got a lot of volcanoes that are erupting and a whole bunch of lot of other things that are ultimately taking place worldwide, you see. And all of these things are being brought by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah because ultimately we are in the time and season of the end, man. We're in the time of judgment, you see, and this man Esau Edom, the so-called white man that's ultimately in power, we're getting ready to come to the end of this man's rulership, man, him being in the power seat, you see, and that's why we see all of these signs ultimately happening in the earth, indicating that this man is getting ready to come out of that power seat that he's in, right? So I'm gonna actually grab this precept that I got, right, in Matthew chapter 24, and I'm gonna start at verse 3 before we get into the video, and I'm gonna read on down to verse 8. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, right, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming in at the end of the world, right? Which is talking about the ending of this eon, this age, right? Because we know that ultimately this world is being ran by the wicked. You see, none other than Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And we're getting ready to come to this man's end, you see. And that's why all of these different tokens that the Lord have left us are now happening and manifesting in the world in this day and time, because we're fastly approaching that day, you see. So it says, and Yahweh Shah answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many, right? Verse 6, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, you see. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes, right, in diverse places. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So ultimately, we're only in the beginning of sorrows, man, the beginning of greater judgment, and evil that is ultimately about to plague the world, man, you see. And I'm going to actually get into this video now so we can ultimately get into it and listen to what it is he's saying. And we're going to go from there. All right, so bear with me while I pull this video back up. All right. But before I started, I want to say fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act. I am not getting paid for this video. This is only for educational purposes only. So with that being said, fair use.
All right, so there's a lot of earthquakes happening around the world today. As of September the 9th, 2025, we've got a 6.4, a 6.0, a 5.8, and these are happening everywhere, but particularly on the west coast of the United States. We are seeing earthquake after earthquake, and it will not stop trembling. Seems like ever since we had that 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit off the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia, in the Pacific Ring of Fire, we are seeing nonstop quaking. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest as we are seeing tons of reports coming out all along the west coast of the United States of nonstop shaking. Let's go ahead and take a look so that way you can see it for yourself. So first off, updated just 31 minutes ago, there was a 5.8 magnitude earthquake. Several aftershocks have rumbled off the west coast. And yes, we're going to be talking about Oregon and California. A 5.1 magnitude earthquake, the latest in a swarm off of the Oregon coast, and also all the way down. We're going to be taking a look at maps of this as well. Magnitude 3.3 earthquake strikes along the San Andreas Fault in California high desert, and we've heard a lot of warnings about the San Andreas Fault. And take a look at this, also Northern California earthquake measuring a 3.9.
You brothers and sisters got a gist of the video just from a little bit I allowed to play, but yeah, you have all of these earthquakes happening all around the world, but predominantly a good majority of them that are happening in the U.S. are ultimately happening on the West Coast, where you have California. You see the tectonic plates that are over there. You see off of the coast of California, their waters and things of that nature, you see. So, hey, you got a lot of seismic activity that's ultimately happening in Cali, man. And like I said, all of these things are the signs of the times that we're ultimately in, man. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is ultimately the one that's allowing these things to happen. Because like I just said a little earlier, we're coming to the end of this world, man. You see, and this place is getting ready to go out by destruction. So these earthquakes are kind of like, the birth pains, you see, like it's the signs to let people know, hey, we're in that time of season, man. So like I said, the magnitude and the intensity of these earthquakes, they're going to continue to get more worse than what they are, because we know that ultimately when these earthquakes first started happening, they was low level earthquakes, or low on the Richter scale. You maybe had one that was probably about a 2.8, 3.0. But as from the guy was saying in the video, you can see that they're starting to increase in on the Richter scale. You see, they're starting to reach up to 5.8, 6.0s. They're starting to get more intense, man. And that's how Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to allow things to get. You see, things are just going to continue to intensify more and more and more, man. Right? So I'm actually go to this precept, right? Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. Thou should be visited of the Lord of hosts, right? With thunder and with earthquake, right? And great noise with storm and tempest and the flame and devouring fire. And that's what we see ultimately taking place, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is visiting this world, man. And we're going to actually get that word visited, right? Bear with me. I'm going to look it up on the blue letter. We're going to get that word visited just so we can see what it means, right? In Isaiah 29:6. So bear with me while I pull that up real quick. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. Right. And we're going to go down. Right. Right. This is the word visited. And I'm going to allow it to play.
Strong's H6485. Pakad. Strong's H6485. Pakad.
Right. So Pakiad, right? And I just had to allow it to play twice just in case you brothers and sisters may have not heard it, because it was a little low the first time I allowed it to play. And I'm going to go down into the meaning of that word. You see, it says to attend to, you see, to reckon, right? And I'm going to look at that word reckon, right, on the AI overview, right? Because it says to attend to. So ultimately, we're in that time and season where Yahweh Shem Yahushua is about to tend to the people in this earth, man. You see, by bringing these judgments upon them, you see, visiting them, you see, punishing them, right? That's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing in this time, man, right? And this is the definition of the word reckon, right? On the AI overview on Google. And it goes into to judge, right? You see, and that's definitely the time of season that we are in, man, where Yahweh Shem Yahushua is about to bring judgment, man. You see, upon 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and also you heathen nations, man. You see, and that's why we ultimately see all of these things ultimately happening, man. Because ultimately the run of wickedness is coming to his end, man. You see, and the Lord is getting ready to wipe this place, as you people know it, off of the face of the earth. This place, Babylon the Great, and the so-called white man ruling the earth in wickedness. All of that has ran its course, man, and it's getting ready to go out, right? Which is wonderful. You see, so I'm actually go to this precept as well. It says 2nd Esdras 16:37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, right? And what are those plagues? You see, the things that I just mentioned earlier when I was going into Matthew 24. You see, the famines, the pestilences, all of those different things are what the Lord is about to bring on the earth at a large magnitude. You see, ultimately to punish this place and to judge it. Like I just read going into that Isaiah 29:6, that word visit. That's what the Lord is doing. He's about to visit this earth, and he's visiting it already now. But, it's going to only continue to get worse for this place, But I'm going to finish reading. It says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side, right? And those sorrows going into these evils, man. You see these earthquakes, these all type of other different things that are happening, these storms and different type of, events that are just randomly happening where a lot of people are getting judged, man. You see, you just had an earthquake happen in Afghanistan. I believe they said it deleted over 4,000 people, man. You see, so hey, the Lord is definitely, allowing sorrows to come upon his earth and his world on all sides, man. Right? Going back into what I said about us being in the time of judgment, So this is 2 Esdras chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit, right, the world which he made. Verse 3, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes, right, and uproars of the people in the world, and you got all of these things happening now, man, right? Protests, uproars of the people. You see earthquakes that are happening in various different places around the earth, Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, right? For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Right, verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And like I said, these are the signs, man. You see, we can prove that this world, as these people know it, this rulership is coming to its end by the signs that are happening, man. All of the things that the Lord listed in the scriptures that he said will be happening in these latter days. We see them happening now. The wars, the rumors of wars, the earthquakes, you see, the false prophets arising, everything that Lord Yahushua said over 2,000 years ago that he said will be happening in the latter days. We see all of those things happening now, right now in our time, man. And they're happening all at once. So like I said, hey, that just proves that, hey, these scriptures are faithful and true, man. And that everything the Lord said is going to come to pass, man. You see? But we're going to get back into this video and we're going to watch it just a little bit more, just to hear a little bit more of the news that he's basically bringing out. But yeah, all of these earthquakes that are happening are the tokens. You see, these are the signs of the times,
Your earthquake measuring a 3.9 jolts area close to Petrolia, California on September 9th today. Now, also, in addition to that, a 3.9 magnitude earthquake hits off the coast near Humboldt County. And like I said, this one is actually the same one from the article we just read, but they're going to have a map breakdown of the earthquakes that have been happening off of the West Coast today, September 9th, 2025. Now, in addition to that, some major earthquakes hitting around the world, as take a look at this. Magnitude 6.4 earthquake hits near Vanuatu, Fiji, and we had a potential tsunami alert, but we are hearing it has been called off, luckily, as take a look at this. Large earthquake strikes a popular holiday island in Greece. Tsunami warnings after a magnitude 6 earthquake strikes off the Crete coast in Greece, but we're hearing that those tsunami warnings have been waived off.
All right. So as you brothers and sisters can see, like I just read, sorrows are going to plague this place on all sides, man. You see, and we are in that time of season. So Lord's willing, I pray this video be edifying, just something quick through the spirit. To the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect. Shalom.